Now, following yesterday's announcement by Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich, we are now starting to see all of the pushback that we expected from this annexation call. And they say you can judge a man by the quality of his enemies. I suppose you can judge a plan by the quality of its detractors. And it's pretty similar to what we've seen in the past. Although I will say we haven't heard any pushback from the White House, which is a very good thing, very nice thing as far as I'm concerned. Well, I sit here and question a lot of the actions and statements that come out of the White House that I deem to be not friendly to Israel. It's nice to see that we haven't seen anything from the White House saying we reject this, we don't accept such a proposal yet. We may, but so far we have not, which is a good thing. But we're starting to see cracks here. And notably, what is the number one pushback that we're starting to see? That is the Abraham Accords. What about the Abraham Accords? And it's interesting because people are trying to pull Trump into this by saying this was Trump's plan, this is what Trump wanted, and now Israel and Netanyahu, or not even Netanyahu, the bad right-wing faction of the government, Smotrich, is trying to derail the Abraham Accords. The vision for peace in the Middle East is now going to go up in smoke because the Jews want to exert sovereignty in the land of Israel. Oh dear. But when you start to see who is pushing these kinds of arguments, it's very telling. I've said for a while, after October 7th, it was very easy for people who are not straight anti-Semites to support Israel. Who wouldn't support Israel after October 7th? Clearly, Israel was a country and a people that deserved empathy from people. But now, things are starting to turn a little bit. Israel has completely morphed from the victim to the victor, to the aggressor even. So we see people like our friend here, Khaled Hassan, who is pretty openly self-identifying as a Zionist. I don't know if it says here in his, President Herzog's Voice of the People. What is his connection to Israel exactly? I'm not really sure. But he is a vocal pro-Israel voice. Arab, of course. Obviously, you could tell by his name. But what does he write in the tweet here? Israelis have forgotten normalization with the UAE was conditioned on not annexing Judea and Samaria. Remember, this is the West's kind of soft threats that I always talk about. That the West is kind of saying, no, you don't want to do this. You don't want to do this. This is not a good idea. Right? So let's see what Khaled Hassan writes here. Now, this article, I believe, actually has a paywall at the bottom, so I'm not going to pay for this and read the whole article. But at least this paragraph is very telling. Many across the Arab world are frankly horrified by how casually Israel has taken its normalization with the UAE. Oh my, the Arab world is horrified. Oh no. I mean, the same Arab world that refused to even condemn Hamas, that Arab world? Oh no, what horrifies the Arab world? Jewish victory. That horrifies the Arab world, which is reasonable. It's easy to understand. We have been at war with the Arab world, we, the state of Israel, since the beginning and before then. That's understandable. Okay. Oh, and of course here with the qualifier, while I wholeheartedly support exercising Israeli control over Judea and Samaria, of course, I support that, absolutely. But any competent strategist would insist on soberly weighing all the risks and benefits. Oh, how interesting. The risks. Sounds like our pro-Israel Zionist Arab friend over here. He's kind of sending us also these veiled threats. Oh, there may be risks. There might be risks. Don't get too aggressive here. Don't get too aggressive. No, maybe you would be better off just shrinking back into your, 1948 borders. Better for you. I'm your friend. I'm your friend. I only want what's best for you. This is what our Arab Zionist friend here is telling us. It appears no one in Jerusalem is considering that. That's right. That's right. The Jews just don't know what's good for them. Yes, that's it. That must be it. We need our wise Arab friend, who is of course our friend. Absolutely. Why should we question his loyalty? Why should we question the loyalty of an Arab that has jumped to Israel's side and supports Israel? It sounds like a perfectly trustworthy individual. Someone who would just leave his group of people and join what's their enemy. Meaning, if you had a Jew that was supporting Palestine, would that Jew be someone that anyone would think is really trustworthy? I wouldn't think so, but hey, okay. It appears no one in Jerusalem is considering that for the Emiratis, the entire legitimacy of the normalization accord rests on this single Israeli concession. And there it is. There it is. That we just have to concede. We must, because we so desperately need the Emiratis to normalize. What does normalization mean? What does that mean? It's not recognition, because let's be frank, who the hell cares if the Emiratis recognize us? The UAE recognizes Israel? Who cares? To borrow a quote from someone that you would least suspect it from, whenever I quote this individual, people are shocked. They're shocked to hear who said this. But he said this around 10 years ago. Yair Lapid. Yair Lapid. This is incredible. He said, this was, 10 years ago. They were talking about recognition from Hamas. Hamas, now it sounds idiotic, but back then, Hamas was the elected representatives of Gaza. So Israel wanted Hamas to recognize Israel. To say, we are here in Gaza, you are here in Israel, we recognize you as a Jewish state. Now, of course, Hamas would not recognize Israel, but Yair Lapid, in a rare moment of sanity for Yair Lapid, he said, I believe he said my father, I could be getting mixed up, his father or grandfather, I believe he said, my father did not escape Hungary to come to Israel to get recognition from Hamas and Mahmoud Abbas and the Palestinian Authority. What a profound statement from a person who profound statements are not normally associated with this individual. But what a profound statement. That's right. We did not wait for 2,000 years to come to the land of Israel and fight and bleed and win and have success to get recognition from the UAE. Why do we care about the UAE? So clearly there's something else here. It's not simply recognition. It's what we all know. It's always about Gulf money. Gulf money. They're not going to invest Gulf money into Israel unless we concede on land that is rightfully ours. That number one is rightfully ours. That number two, that we need for strategic depth to protect our country. That we should take anyway because it will allow us to expand not only territorially but financially and grow and bring new immigrants to Israel and have citizens of Israel be able to afford to buy a home because we're now enormously expanding our supply of land. So there are a lot of reasons why. And what do we get? The Emiratis won't like it. And therefore what? They won't invest their money into Israel. Now here's a question for citizens or supporters of Israel. Not the guys, the big shots that sit at the top. Not the ones that quote unquote sit in Jerusalem. But regular citizens. Do we really want a country like the UAE to invest money in Israel? Because we know what investment always means. Investment means now you get a seat at the table. Now you have control. That's always what investment means. And the question is, who are these guys? Who is the UAE? Who are the Emiratis? Who are they? Well, let's just take one example here. What do we have here? This was from August 2025. Not even 1 month ago. UAE condemns and denounces in the strongest possible terms Israeli government's decision to occupy the Gaza Strip. Now, this isn't even Judea and Samaria. This isn't even the West Bank. People could make the argument, they would be wrong, but they could make the argument, well, you're not at war with the West Bank, so why are you going to do this? Why are you going to annex it? I disagree, but okay. But the Gaza Strip, we know what happened. Right now, today, and certainly a month ago, there are Jewish hostages being held in the Gaza Strip. The UAE is not coming out there and saying, Hamas must release these hostages. Hamas must, set down their weapons. They must surrender. They're not saying that. This is a country that supposedly we should have peace with, that we want recognition with, that we should not annex the West Bank lest they step away and we can't have relations with them. Does this look like a country that we should be having relations with? Does it? Doesn't look that way to me. They've condemned this. It will lead to catastrophic consequences. That is a threat. We're going to be threatened by the Emiratis. What can they really threaten us with? Except for holding back money. And what do we know about extortion? You cannot play into this game. If a person's in this situation, they must extricate themselves immediately. Extortion is an incredibly dangerous game. And these are not people that we want to even have the risk of being extorted, because we see it already right now with Gaza. Gaza should not be a controversial situation. Certainly not for a country that wants to be allied with us or have relations with us. They're calling on the United Nations and the UN Security Council to end illegal practices that Israel is fighting against Hamas, that started this war, that killed thousands of Israelis, that took hundreds hostages, and there are hostages there now. And this is who the UAE is. So there should be no pretense whatsoever that the UAE is a country that is moderate, that wants to really have good relations with. Yeah, they want some kind of relationship, but based on easily available evidence, the kind of relationship they want is a relationship where they invest in Israel and that they can use that money as a weapon against us. As a weapon. Because now they have no influence in Israel. And look at what they're doing now. Imagine if they had real influence in Israel. What would that look like? A disaster is what it would look like. And that is the Abraham Accords. And that is not Israel first. That is Israel last. We, under no circumstances, can allow the Abraham Accords to move forward. We certainly cannot support it in any possible way. Now, I would say this. If you want a moderate position, and I'm willing to consider a moderate position on this, Israel, at the minimum, should not have relations with any country that cannot publicly and openly state that Hamas is a terror organization, that they must surrender immediately, that they must release the hostages. Minimum. Minimum. If they refuse to do even that, there is zero to consider. Zero. And this statement, right here by the UAE, is the opposite of this. The exact opposite. Palestinians' inalienable rights. This should be obvious who these people are and why we cannot get mixed up with them at all. At all. Look at how they talk. Is this how a country that wants a relationship with Israel, is this how they talk? Crossing a red line? A red line? Who on earth do the Emiratis think they are to draw any kind of red lines for us? Who do they think they are? Here's a simple question. What exactly is their interest in Gaza and the West Bank? Why do the Emiratis care? Why do they care? I could understand why Jordan cares. The West Bank is neighboring Jordan. So that's their neighbor. Now, it wouldn't matter to me that Jordan cares, but I could understand why they have a concern. I understand why Egypt is concerned about Gaza. I understand. I get that. Doesn't necessarily change my approach, but I understand their position. What on earth concerns the Emiratis so much? They could not be further away from the situation. They are all the way in the Gulf, enormously far away. What is the consideration? What is the concern? Now, just listen to their own words. This is not me talking. This is them. The United Arab Emirates has warned Israel that annexing the occupied West Bank could cross a red line and undermine the spirit of the Abraham Accords that normalize relations between the two countries. But here's everything. A senior Emirati official, Lana Nusseibeh, said such a move would be the death knell of the two-state solution. Right. Why? And the next line is even better. The Palestinian Authority's foreign ministry said it welcomed the UAE's position. Of course it does. Because what does it tell you? It tells you that the UAE and the Palestinian Authority, who, by their own actions and words, is constantly aggravating against Israel, constantly making moves to kill Israelis, to undermine our sovereignty. The Palestinian Authority is clearly the enemy. That's obvious. Everyone knows this. So the UAE and the Palestinian Authority and the Gazans, Gaza Strip, maybe they don't want to say Hamas. Hamas is not such a nice word anymore. But the UAE is exactly aligned with them. Does this seem like a country that we should have relations? Everyone is talking about, well, the UAE is not going to want to have a relationship with us. If we do this, they won't want to be with us. What is always the Israel first question? Should we want to be aligned with them? Should we? Based on these things, and a lot more, I'm sure we could, all of us, even as individuals, can go out there and find a lot worse stuff than what I just pulled up. Is this a country that we want relations with? That should be the question. The question should not be, oh, what do they want relations with us? Do we want relations with them? I would posit, no, we do not. Why on earth would we want a country like this that says, my God, this is the end of a two-state solution? We know that. We want the end of a two-state solution. Obviously. Clearly, to state this nicely, clearly our agendas do not align. Clearly not. So that's that. Why on earth would this arrangement make sense given what we've seen? The answer is it does not. So we are learning a lot of things about talking points that have been fed to us for a while now. Abraham Accords, relations. There is no possibility for relations with these countries. The UAE, Israel has never bombed the UAE. As far as I'm concerned, that's peaceful relations. That's peaceful relations. What they're doing now is only words. It's just words. It's words of support. Okay, they can support whoever they want. They want to actively get involved against Israel, that will change. But if all they want to do is issue statements, that's fine. We already have peace with them. We have peace with them. The same way we have with Saudi Arabia. We're not bombing Saudi Arabia because they do not take actions against us. They may make statements that we don't like, but statements are statements. We can make statements that they don't like. But this is about as much relationship as we can have. You don't take actions against us, we will not take actions against you. That's about it. But to have an actual relation, to allow these people to invest in our country, to buy our news networks, to buy real estate in Israel, to have a foothold here, absolute insanity. No. The answer must be a resounding no. That is not at all Israel first. That is Israel last. We cannot possibly consider such a thing. So, ultimately, Smotrich's plan is revealing, bringing out to the public things that maybe some of us knew, but now all of us are being exposed to who the Emiratis are, who these Gulf countries are, and that we don't want them. They don't want us? Well, that works out great because we don't want them. Every consideration must be whether it's Israel first or not. Clearly, annexation is Israel first, and clearly the Abraham Accords and normalization is Israel last. That must be the only consideration.